The No Fate Channel, checking in with a definitive home gym flooring video. We're going to go over the best home gym flooring for your home gym. We are going to talk about where to buy it, how to buy it, what options it comes in, why it's the best home gym flooring out there for 99% of you, how to cut it, how to pick it up, soup to nuts, top to bottom, everything. This is usually the point in the video where I tell you to hit the subscribe button, because on this Dad's Home Gym series, I typically review a piece of home gym equipment. But today we're doing home gym flooring and I want to dive right in, so we're going to skip over that. So for home gym flooring, if you go on Amazon, you are going to find that this kind of foamy stuff often comes up very quickly. It's cheap, it's affordable, and a lot of people go with this route. Unfortunately, they end up selling it after like 6 months. What happens is it doesn't offer as much support for your equipment or for your floor in terms of protection and support. Then you realize, you can see it's fairly thin and it moves around. Unless you put a lot of weight on this, it's going to move around because it's so thin and doesn't have a lot of weight to it. It's going to slide on your floor. Conversely, the best option for most people is going to be horse stall mats. The reason it's the best option is because it is easy to come by. It lasts forever. It is, as you can see, extremely thick. This is 3/4 inch horse stall mats. It's made out of rubber. Did I mention it's going to last a lifetime? And it's fairly affordable. A 4x6 mat should cost you anywhere between $50 and like $40 depending on where you buy it. So a few things I do want to make mention of with regards to horse stall mats. They are not all the same. What happens is people will oftentimes go to their Tractor Supply store and you get one option. And what they don't realize is if they do a little bit of research, there's actually multiple options of horse stall mats, believe it or not. There are different tops. As you can see, you've got a little bit of groove here and you've got a flat top here. Now these are both horse stall mats and these both come in at around the same price. And there's different bottoms. So this bottom you can see has little rivets, and this bottom has these little pads. So clearly, even though these are both horse stall mats, same thickness, preferably the same price, there are differences, and there's a lot more options than even these two will suffice. So here's what I'm going to tell you. If you have a small home gym, a small space, you're going to want to go to the Tractor Supply store and just buy one or two or maybe even four and be done with it. If you do have a bigger space, or if you don't have a Tractor Supply store near you, there are places online that only sell horse stall mats and stuff like that, where you're going to be able to pick out which top and bottom horse stall mat you want, and you can have them absolutely delivered. Now, will this run you a little bit more money? Yes, but if you are going to be buying a lot of these, the money is not going to be the issue. The time and energy you're going to save by simply having these horse stall mats delivered is going to be substantial, because as we know, time is money. And try to picture you picking up 10 of these 100-pound horse stall mats, loading them into your sedan and trying to get them home. You can only imagine the time and effort it's going to take. And it's obviously better to have the specific ones that you want delivered, because again, once you have these in your home, they're going to be here for life. As far as my preference, I have both types and I haven't noticed a huge difference. I happen to like both types that I have currently, just because they tend to offer good options. I happen to think that these little ones give you a little bit more shock absorption with regards to if you're going to drop something or if you're putting your weight on them, a little bit more shock absorption, but these are good too, and these rivets do help have a little bit more airflow along the bottom. The easiest way that I have found to move these pieces of dead weight by yourself is to fold these like a taco into three. So I want you to picture taking a piece of paper and folding it up to put it in an envelope. You're going to fold it into three, and then you are going to take one hand on each side and grab that double section and just manhandle it. But you want to keep the mat as close to your body as you can, and that's going to help your hips hold a lot of the weight and keep it off your back as well. Obviously, the more people you have to help you, the better, and if you take your time with it and don't rush it, you're probably better off. Also, if you can utilize tools, I have found that a wheelbarrow does help when you're carrying this over a large distance with respect to maybe getting it from your car to your basement or whatnot. So if you do have a large distance to cover this, you might want to at least think about using a wheelbarrow or a cart. And now how to cut your horse stall mats. Clearly, when you are placing these, you want to have some type of design in mind that's going to allow you to at least cut these as little as possible. That's going to save you a lot of headache. It's going to save you from ruining an expensive mat. And frankly, it's going to save you some extra work. But ultimately, you are going to have to cut them. And the best way to cut them is to simply have a razor blade. Any type of razor blade will do, but I will tell you right off the bat, you are going to want a new razor blade. You want the sharpest razor blade you can find. And if you have to do a lot of cuts, do be prepared to switch this around in terms of making sure that you remove the old used up blade even after, a few cuts, and putting a new blade in there. Also, you're going to want to have a ruler of some sort in order to accurately measure what you're going to be cutting. Ideally, you want to have a T-square. That's probably going to be the best way to make sure that your cuts are even and accurate. Once you've made your measurements, you're going to want to have something along the line that you need to cut that is going to help you essentially follow that line as evenly and as closely as possible. Again, you can use this piece of wood, but a T-square would be ideal. And then you are going to want to cut with the razor blade. Now, here's a few pieces of advice. Number one, you don't want to press down hard on this. Your inclination is going to be, hey, I got to cut super hard. I'm strong. I'm going to push this knife all the way through the rubber. No. You want to go slow, smooth, and know that it's going to take you a number of strokes to get it. You want the razor blade to do the work, and pushing down harder is just going to make the cut more uneven, and it's going to just make you more agitated. So take your time. And once you've made a number of cuts, probably 5 to 8, you're going to notice that you're going to be getting pretty deep into the horse stall mat. You then want to take your piece of wood and place it underneath that horse stall mat to lift it up. And that is going to allow you to help cut through your horse stall mat without scraping up your floor, and it's going to help you kind of cleave off that bottom edge that you have going on. Now, a few things when you are cutting. Again, I'm going to say it again because you probably didn't hear me the first time. Slow and steady, and do not put a lot of pressure on it. Slow and steady is going to win the race. Slow is smooth, and smooth is fast. And also, when you are making your cuts, please keep your blade straight down. You don't want to have an angle, because if you do have an angle, what's going to happen is, as you can see here, okay, hopefully you can see here, that it's not going to be straight down. It's going to be sheared off at a slight angle, because that's the angle that you're holding the knife inaccurately, and that's going to cause your mats to be misaligned, not line up well, and look unprofessional. If this does happen, or at least if it happens slightly, you can use, some sandpaper to even it off a little bit, or you can just take your blade and go along the bottom to wear off some of the bottom and get it fixed. Once your horse stall mats are cut, placed, and aligned, some people really have a problem with the spaces in between their horse stall mats. I personally have found that they match up very tightly, and that there's no issue of me kind of clipping my toe in between or on that groove that exists. And frankly, I personally like having that groove because it allows me to easily be able to pick up the horse stall mat and kind of vacuum underneath, clean it up, and all that good stuff. But if you're one of those people that's anal retentive and you want to make sure that there's no seam, then you can get yourself some duct tape. Obviously, the best duct tape out there, I think, is this Gorilla Tape. So like one of these is going to run you like $8 or $9 at the local hardware store. But this is probably the best stuff you can have. And then you can just run this along the seam and you can be happy and ready to go. Now let's talk about cost savings. As we mentioned, if you do have them delivered, you're going to spend a little bit more, but you're ultimately going to get the exact top and bottom horse stall mat you want, and you're going to ultimately not have to put in a lot of that work required to get them at your home. They are sold used on the Facebook Marketplace. I have found that many people who sell them used don't sell them at much of a discount. I would argue that if you are going to buy them used, you should be looking at a 50% savings, only because you're going to have to clean them before you put them into your home, and that elbow grease and all the time and energy it's going to take to clean them on both sides is probably not worth paying more than 50% of the original asking price. If you got any questions regarding horse stall mats, please drop them in the comments below. I made this video as quick as I could to save you time and get you back into your home gym working out. So please give this video a like and hit that subscribe button as usual. Thanks for watching, and don't save anything for the trip back. This channel is dedicated to my life as a father of 2 wonderful children, and it centers around health, fitness, and all of the tricks and tribulations that I go through to try to be a great parent to my children and still accomplish my own personal goals.